For 5 decades, Gloria Estefan's music has moved the world. This is Let It Loose, a Gloria Este-FAN podcast, the first fan-led show dedicated to her life, legacy, and impact. Lifelong Este-FANs, Carlos, Rob, and Wes explore the songs, moments, and stories that make Gloria an icon. If her music changed your life, then welcome home.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let It Loose. My name is Rob.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Carlos.
And this week, we're diving into the world of Gloria's concerts. We're speaking to a lifelong super fan who has tons of memorable, fun, and interesting concert stories to share with us. We may also be able to share some of our own.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this episode. I've actually been looking forward to this episode for quite some time because I don't know about you guys, but I have a few wild concert stories to share.
I've been looking forward to it as well because I love concerts. I'm the unfortunate one that's only been to 2, so I can't wait to hear some of your stories.
I actually have a feeling that Carlos and I share one concert story.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
So
I feel like we could probably turn this into a 3 or 4 episode. No.
Yeah, through this process, we've learned, Rob, that we've been to a few events when we didn't know each other and didn't even know, that we were there. So
yeah, when I was in high school, even.
And you were, or
That's funny.
Or elementary school.
So yeah, all right. So before we get into that, let's have a little history lesson with Wesito.
All right, guys. So, as we all know, 1996 was a busy year for Gloria, especially the month of April. So this week takes us back to April 28th, 1996. Gloria performed at the 1996 VH1 Honors Concert, which was held at Universal Amphitheater in Universal City, California. The concert was also known as a concert for human rights, honored by the organization Witness that was founded by Peter Gabriel. Gloria performed Coming Out of the Dark and Reach. And I'm not sure if that was maybe her first live performance of Reach, but that's something we're going to have to look up. But I think it may have been, as well as Peter Gabriel's hit In Your Eyes, alongside Peter Gabriel and a few names that will definitely take you back to the 90s, Tony Rich, Joan Osborne, and Natalie Merchant. I know she mentioned a few years ago there was a Vogue. I'm not really sure if it was on their YouTube channel. Do you guys remember where she talked about how her looks over the years, and she mentioned the dress that she wore on the VH1 Honors?
Was that the long dress? She had straight hair, long dress, and it had like different colors.
Yes, and the story was that somebody else wore the same exact dress or something like that. I do remember.
Yeah, and I think later, just a few years ago, I think her daughter-in-law, Lara, wore that same dress.
Yeah, actually, we talked about that in a previous episode. Now that you say that, I remember. Yeah.
Awesome. We're about to dive into some of our favorite Gloria concert stories, the energy, the memories, and those moments that stay with you long after the music stops. And to help us relive some of those unforgettable moments, we're joined by a very special guest and friend of the show. She's repping the 305 and longtime fan who's been there, lived it, and I'm sure danced through it all. Please help us welcome Giovanna. Giovanna, we're so excited to have you with us today. Welcome to Let It Loose.
Hello. I'm
Thank you for being
excited
here.
to be here too.
Yes, thank you for being here.
So are you repping the 305 or are you 786?
Listen, my phone number might be 786, but I'm 305. I've been here, born and raised, never left.
See, I rep out in Colorado. I still rep the 305, but I never had a 305 number. It was 954.
Yeah, by the time I got a cell phone, 786 was the only thing left, so I had to deal with it. Didn't like it, but it is what it is.
We just saw each other a few days ago. Well, by the
The
time
concert for Anna, yeah.
Anna's concert, I made it out there. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do it, and I said I gotta. And had such a good time. Did you have fun?
Yeah, oh my God, it was so good. And she's so talented. I'm so glad that you like convinced me to go. You kept like egging me on, and I was like, it's a weeknight. I don't know. Let me see. And then I heard her on your podcast, and I was like, I love her. I have to go and support her. I need to see her live again. And I hadn't seen her live since she was on the On Your Feet musical, and she's so incredibly talented. And I was so glad that I went. I had a great time.
Carlos sent us some pictures and videos. Looks like you guys had a blast.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
It was so fun. And she, just like she had mentioned on the podcast, she really did a little bit of everything. It wasn't just
Hmm.
Broadway songs, it was, some Cuban standards and then some pop hits. So it was fun to see that kind of, mix.
Nyx, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's
She's just so multi-talented. She can do anything.
absolutely, absolutely. And Gloria looked like she had fun. Emilio was there for just a little bit. I know that he had to run off because that guy is so busy. I don't know how he hasn't slowed down. He's I think he is producing something for there's an artist now, I think his name is Roncolunga or his artist name. So I know that he's been spending a lot of time with him in the studios. So it'll be interesting to see what musical baby they're coming up with.
Emilio produces great music. I always love everything that he does.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as you know, we're going to be talking about our concert stories. I know that you have a few that you've been dying to share, and I've been dying to find out. I have one in particular. I have a few, but there's one in particular that's just it's a memory that I will never forget. It wasn't a pleasant experience. So, it had nothing to do with Gloria. It was a Gloria concert, but she was very pleasant, as we know, but um, one of the goers was not. So,
That's why I think we have the same one. I think it's the same story.
yeah, the same story. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So before we get in, we want to learn a little bit about you, Giovanna. So,
Okay.
what would you say was the song or album that caught your attention?
Like what became what made me a fan?
I mean, you're a fan, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any memory of not being a fan because my dad was a fan, and he had those early Miami Sound Machine records, and he was like a quasi musician in Miami during those days. So he knew some of the people, in the early band. And so I grew up on her music. I don't have memory of her not being musically in my life. I remember as a little kid, I was gifted it was called My First Sony. And it was like a kiddie tape player with a little microphone and AM FM radio. And it came with like a bunch of like Disney soundtracks. And I was like, I don't want to hear this Disney crap. I stole the tapes from my dad's cassette collection. So far, it was only like two albums out at that time. It was Eyes of Innocence and
Mhm.
Primitive Love. And I was super stuck on Gonga, on Dr. Beat, on Orange Express. Those were like my favorite little like jams. And
Oh
I
my
used
God.
to ask my dad, I want to hear the Conga Lady. Like I didn't know it was Miami Sound Machine for me. It was Conga Lady from the get-go. And I stole those tapes and I played them over and over. Like side A, switch, side B, next tape, side A, side B. And I was just obsessed with this little tape player and my cassettes. And every time a new album came out, my dad would buy it. I would yoink it, and it
Hmm.
became mine by the time I think when Destiny came out. I had, older, I got some allowance money and I bought the album for myself, and my dad didn't know. He started getting used to buying duplicates because he knew that I would take his stuff. So we
Really?
ended up with three Destiny albums because he didn't know that I had already bought it.
That's awesome. So Destiny was the very first album that you purchased.
That I bought with my own
For
money.
your,
I went to Specs. I don't know if you guys remember
Oh,
Specs.
Specs. Yes,
Yes, and I bought Destiny. That was the first album I bought with my own money.
Specs.
That's awesome.
That's where we would go because we're both from South Florida. So was it
Mhm.
where we would go to purchase the concert tickets,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, waiting in
oh,
line for Evolution Tour. I remember that.
And also there was another place where I went to, and you might recognize this. This was in Hialeah, Ricky Records.
Yes, we had one on Flagler for the longest time. I think it's still there actually.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's old school.
old school. Yes.
So let me ask you this. So speaking of, we're both from South Florida. She's our hometown hero, right? We know that she's a global, international superstar, but for us in Florida, she's that hometown hero.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? Because I know what it means for me, but what was it like for you, being a fan of hers and knowing that she's this hometown hero?
Oh my gosh, it just as a woman and as a Cuban, as a Miamian, she brought so much light to like our story as, firstborn from an immigrant background in South Florida and all that struggle and like trying to find your identity and kind of assimilate, but also keep your culture and, trying to, embrace your culture, but at the same time growing up very Americanized, and when she hit the scene and all that music came out that was our rhythms of like what we heard at parties, and but then it was in English. And like I'm bilingual, like I grew up, speaking both languages, but I was like just so caught onto like, wow, this is like my culture, but it's also in English. And it was just an immediate like attraction to fulfilling something in me as like a Cuban American.
Isn't it amazing having grown up in South Florida, this hometown hero? Doesn't she feel like a tia? Like just
Yeah, she's everyone's tia. Like it's like 3 degrees to Gloria.
you don't see that often, but you know that exists and is there. I feel like she is everyone's tia in South Florida.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's interesting because her music, I've often said similarly to what you're saying, sounds like home. Like
Hmm.
as your definition of home changes as you grow up, with physical places that are really no longer there as much, or people who move away or everything like that, people evolve. Her music still sounds like home for me, So
Yeah.
it's great for you to say that, and to say that you have that sort of cultural connection with her. So we're going to talk about concerts today. We talked in a previous episode about our first concert experiences and how meaningful that was. Do you remember your first Gloria concert
Oh,
and
yes.
what that was?
My first Gloria concert was not a Gloria itself concert. It was the hurricane relief concert. So Hurricane Andrew had just hit
Oh,
South Florida. It was obviously very devastating to the South Florida area. I lived down south back then. The house was, very destroyed. We were without electricity for over 3 months, and, everyone was struggling. And Gloria, being who Gloria is, she wanted to do something to give back to the community and help those that, were in need. So they did this huge, it was like a comic relief concert. So it was like a bunch of different artists, and then in between comics would go and give like comic relief to try and like get people to like laugh and get through the dark moment and raise a ton of money
mhm.
for then giving back to the community and helping people that needed to rebuild their lives from scratch. My dad bought the tickets. They were very expensive, and I remember my mom being a little upset that I was along for the ride because she's just a kid. Like she, why are you going to spend this obscene amount of money on this kid coming to the concert? And my dad was like, she's a huge fan. Like I will never hear the end of it. Fine, don't bring her. So it was me, my mom, and my dad, and we were 10th row. And it was a very long concert because there was a bunch of artists, a bunch of comics doing, and she was like the finale, right? So right before she came on, the audience is like, Gloria, because we were like, we wanted her. This was like peak Gloria, you know,
Mhm.
in her career. And Gloria, Gloria. And she finally comes out, and that first note hit, and the audience lost their minds. Like, because
Wow.
I was little, I was standing on the chair, and the roar of the audience, like it was like a wave of energy that almost knocked me off the chair. Like this massive insane of like love and energy towards her on the stage was insane. I still have goosebumps every time I talk about it. And I swear they had to like delay the second note because the audience went so crazy for her. It was such a moment.
Oh my God. What wasn't that at the at Joe Robbie?
Yes.
It was
Yep.
Joe Robbie because now it's
Now it's Dolphin. Now it's whatever. It changes names every 3 years.
yeah,
It's Joe Robbie to me, always.
it's gonna exactly. Do you remember which songs she sang?
Oh my gosh. She sang Always Tomorrow. I remember that. I think she even brought up her guitar
Mm-hmm.
for that one. Coming Out of the Dark, I remember. Um, oh my God, all her hit songs from that time, from like Into the Light album and Anything for You. She sang. I don't super remember every little detail, but I think it was like 5 or 6 songs.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to remember. I wonder if because the concert was televised on Showtime, and
Oh, was it? I didn't
yeah,
Oh, I
even
didn't
know
know
it
that.
was. So I wonder if I'm thinking that the televised version may have not had the full, her must have had her full set, but because I remember thinking, she didn't perform as many songs as, when I was younger. I was like, why didn't she perform more songs? I didn't
that.
get the fact that it was, a concert with other people, but I think she
Yeah,
did Live for Loving You as well, but I could be
I
wrong
think
about
so
that.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like a recent hit at that time frame. So,
It's so interesting hearing you talk because, in my opinion, growing up, that outfit that she wore for that show, that's not the point of the whole show, but the outfit is such an iconic look. You know,
oh,
the white button
Very.
the
down with the
white one.
red skirt.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
can picture it vividly as you're talking, as if I was there, you
Yeah.
know? And like you painting that picture was just so beautiful. Was that your first time ever seeing her?
So being Miamian, my family had a boat, and so we would cruise Biscayne Bay and the ocean like almost every weekend was part of our routine, like Sundays on the bay. And of course, my dad, knowing that I'm a fan, he would take me past Star Island and Gloria's house every time so I could see the house or whatever. And one day she was out there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
Oh my God.
like just like dumbfounded because I'm like, so, oh my God, there she is, like in person. And she was on the dock. So she was like right there, like maybe 10 feet away. And everyone on the boat is like, Gloria. And she's like, hey, she's like super nice to everybody. I'm like, you're in your house, like, you know.
Wow.
And it was her, Emilio, and Naib, and they, I guess, had just docked or were leaving because they were like loading or unloading the boat, like right there. They had like the cooler and stuff, like just a
Wow.
typical Miami family, like
Yeah, super
enjoying,
normal.
what Miami has to offer.
Wow. And then to go from that to seeing her live
And then
is like,
seeing her in
yeah.
concert. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the concert stories that stick out?
Oh,
Ooh, so I have
whoa.
two. So I'll tell the first one. The first one was Las Vegas for the Unwrapped album. She did like a series of shows there, and I think she called it like Live and Unwrapped or something like
Hmm.
that. It was October 2003, and I remember it exactly because it was a month shy of my 21st birthday. And Las Vegas is not, it's not super, under 21 friendly, but
No.
I was also kind of like
Mhm.
used to Miami. And for those of you who are not from Miami, like I was going to clubs and since I was like 15 years old, that's like normal in Miami. I don't know how other people see it outside. Sometimes I shock people with my stories from my days. But I was so used to like never being carded, never being like asked my age. A girl at a club, come on in, like
Miami.
that's what it was. So I went to Vegas thinking I would be able to get away with the same things in Miami. I was surprised to see that they had a very strict door policy. And I had to be very
Very
careful
interesting.
about what I did, and I still did things, but kind of sneaking
Not
around.
all.
Um, so we go to, the concert.
First weekend or second weekend?
Ooh, I don't even remember.
Because I was there the first weekend.
It might have been the second weekend. I
Okay.
always like to go to like the last show. I used to be a dancer, and I feel like the very last show of things tends to be like the best because that's when everyone like relaxes the most, all the
Mm.
performers and stuff, because it's like this is it. This is the last one. So I've always picked to be the last show, so I'm pretty sure it would have been the second weekend.
Okay.
Um, So yeah, it had to be, I think, the very last show because afterwards there was like an after party and stuff, and normally there's not an after party unless it's like the end of the thing.
No, I think it was the first weekend then because I was at the
Really?
after party.
Okay.
Aha.
Aha. So we go to the concert. I'm like, maybe eighth or 10th row or something like that in that area. At some point, Gloria like summons some of us to go on stage with her, and I guess security was not aware of the situation. And so, a bunch of people went up. I started to go up, and security went to go grab me. And out of nowhere, Tony, I don't know if you guys remember Tony, Gloria's bodyguard from back in
Of
the
course.
day. Such a sweetheart. Ugh, I love that man. I miss him so much.
Rest in peace.
He was great. He pops out of nowhere and he's like, "Don't touch her. She's fine. I'll tell you who to take down." And
Oh,
he like, grabs me up and like pulls me onto the stage and we do our, little thing for conga and we go back to our seats. Show ends. We're getting ready to leave. I think one of the band members tells some of us like the after party's at this club. Naib's gonna be DJing. Everyone should go to support. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'm always down to like dance and have a good time. Um, so we get over there and they have like a strict door policy with like dress code. Some people had to go and change because they were, dressed in like shorts and sneakers and that wasn't allowed in the club. And then I'm dressed pretty nice because I'm used to the club scene, dressing up for Miami. And I go up and I thinking, it's not going to be a problem. And he's like, "Your ID?" And I'm like, "My ID." And I'm like, "All right."
Uh-oh.
I hand it over and I should have not handed it over because then once he saw that I was only 20, he's like, "I can't let you in. You're
oh
not able. This is
no.
Oh.
21 plus." And I'm like, "Come on, like I'm not gonna do anything. I just want to have a good time. Like, I won't get you in trouble. I promise I won't do anything crazy. Like, I just want to dance." And he's like, "No, like I will get in so much trouble. The door policy is super strict. Like, you cannot come in." So I'm
Mm.
like devastated
Oh.
because I just
Oh my
wanted to
God.
like have a good time. So then I was standing there waiting for like Conga members that had gone up to their room to go change and come back, and I can't go in. So like I'm gonna stand out here for a little bit, wait for everyone, say bye, and like that's the end of my night because I can't go in. At some point, I get like annoyed with the bouncer because he continues to like stare at me. So I'm like, I need to get away from like him and like the noise of the casino. And I walk outside like a side door into like an alleyway, and I'm standing there by myself. And some car pulls up, and it's some man, and he like confuses me for a hooker. Oh my God, I gotta get back inside before like something crazy happens. And right as I'm like turning to go back inside the hotel, a white janky van pulls up and I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to get kidnapped." I feel
Mhm.
like I need to run. And the door swings open and out pops Emilio and like other people from, friends and family and Gloria. And I get to say like hello and get a picture. And I was so close to asking Gloria to like pull me in,
Let me in.
celebrity like get me in there. But I felt bad. I never like asking her for anything. So I just like got my picture and then, that was the end of my night. But I was so devastated I couldn't go into that club for the
Oh,
after
no.
party.
Oh man. See, now I'm questioning. Maybe they had another after party
They like
At
to
the
party.
end, maybe?
it's a
Yeah.
party. So yeah, because the after party that I went to the first weekend was outdoors.
Oh, no, this was like inside like one of those small venues
Yeah.
inside the casino.
Yeah, and they had during that time she was on the cover of a magazine. I can't remember which magazine it was, a big magazine. And they had from that photo shoot, they had those photos displayed throughout the whole garden. I remember Becky being there and
Oh, cute.
Okay, yeah, that must have been, yeah, it must have been a different weekend for sure.
Las Vegas is so funny. Like the how strict they are. I was like, they carded me last summer, and I was like, it must be really dark in this casino because I am fully gray. Like there is no reason for you to be.
Little Rob, calm
No,
down.
no, no.
You're fully gray, but you still look 12.
But I must have been under like a very dim light in that casino because I was like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about my age at this point.
I look very young for my age, so I still get carded.
Yeah, I was gonna say you do look very young. But if you had to pick one concert or moment that stands above the rest? What is it?
Well, the Carole King one, which is the other story I have. I mean, obviously a huge Gloria Estefan fan. Like, she's my number one, always will be. But I also love Carole King. She is a legendary songwriter, has written for so many artists, is just, an icon. And I just love music in general. So, like, icons like that, I greatly, admire for their, contribution to the music world. And so when I found out that there was going to be Carole King and Gloria together, I was like, take all my money. Like, like at that point, I wasn't flying out to concerts. It was only Las Vegas, and that was it. I didn't go to any of the other casino shows. But when they announced that concert, it was at a fan gathering. And it just so happened that my sister was giving birth that day. So I was making an appearance at this fan gathering in the morning. And then I was going to leave to go spend time with my family because my sister had her scheduled C-section. So, but I was like not going to miss out on this concert and I wanted to get good seats. So I literally handed someone my credit card and I was like, I don't care what it costs. I need you to get me 2 seats for the last show, whatever it is. The best money can buy. Okay.
Amazing.
Cuesta lo que cuesta. Like, I literally was like, just take it. Just take all my money. And they were like, are you sure? And I'm like, I don't care. Tell me about it later. I'll see you tonight for drinks. I gotta go. And so whatever, concert time rolls around. We get there. We had tickets for Sunday night, which was the last show, but we get there on Saturday. Just to do like Connecticut things, like, see Connecticut. I had never been to Connecticut before, hang out in the casino, have a nice dinner, that kind of thing. And we found out someone was selling like cheap tickets at the door because they like had extra or something. So we were like, all right, yeah, we'll go see Gloria again. Sure. So we go to that show. It was cheap seats, but we had a good time. But it was at that show that we realized we forgot to get the glow sticks. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, we used to always get glow sticks, and Gloria would like see where we were in the audience, and we would like syncopate, to the rhythm of the song with the glow stick. And we were like, oh man, we forgot our glow sticks. And I'm like, whatever, we're in civilization. We will go, we'll find a party city or whatever on, the next day to find some glow sticks. So we go around, we find a store that's open, and it was a very sleepy town in Connecticut. So it was actually a little bit of a mission to find a store that was open. And we go to this party supply place and we find the glow sticks. And as we're waiting in line to pay, I spot a rainbow section of like, all kinds of pride stuff, rainbow stuff, whatever. And then there's like a multicolored lei, like Hawaiian lei with the flowers. And I don't know what came over me because, I mean, I think, Carlos, you know me better than anybody else here. I am a very shy person. I do not like to do things to attract attention, especially back then. Like, I'm throwing to myself a little bit now, but I never did anything crazy to get Gloria's attention. I was always like hanging back, waiting my turn, But something came over me and in my head, I was like, when I get backstage, I'm gonna lay Gloria with this Hawaiian lei so that I can say that I laid Gloria backstage. Like, I have the sense of humor of a 15-year-old boy. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And so I get the thing and, I wrap it around my wrist for the concert. And I had never been invited backstage. I don't know why I got it.
I was just going to ask you, did you already know you were going backstage?
No, I had no idea. And I had never been invited backstage. But in my head, it was happening. I don't know how. But like, I was like, yeah, I'm being invited backstage. During the concert, I started doubting myself. I was like, who do I think I am? Being so presumptuous that I'm going to be invited backstage when I've never been invited backstage before in my life. Like, so then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it during the show, but I'm going to wait till the very end in case, it doesn't go well or like security gets mad at me and because I already had that experience from before. So I wait till the very end of the show. The last song that Gloria and Carole King sing together is I Feel the Earth Move, which is very apropos. So I take it off my wrist and I motion, for Gloria to come over. She comes over and I show it to her. And so she knows what it is. And she ducks down for me to like put the Hawaiian lei over her head. And when she pops up, the audience went crazy. And then I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What have I done? What have I done? You know how like in school, like when people like popped a bag in the cafeteria and the whole cafeteria is like, "Ooh," like that's what that moment was. And I was like, so embarrassed. I'm
Oh.
like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like now everyone's looking at me. Audience is going crazy. She's dancing with the thing around her neck. And she almost runs into Carole King going back to center stage because she like missed her mark because of, the delay of me putting the thing on her. And it starts messing with like her monitor, I think. So like the band motions to her and she like, takes it off. But it was so funny. A bunch of like other fans sent me like videos and pictures of the moment afterwards, and it was really cute to watch. And right as she like exits the stage, because it's now, the end of the concert, she turns around, points at me, and like gives me like a wink and a smile. And I was like, it's fine.
It's
Oh,
fine. It's all worth it.
That's great.
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. And then we did get invited backstage.
And then you made it backstage.
We did make it backstage. Yeah.
That's great.
That's
I'd love
awesome.
to see those videos. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time. That show still top 3 best ever concerts I've ever been to of my life of any artist. Like her and Carole King, their chemistry was so great.
It was
And
so
like Carole
great.
King brought something out of Gloria. Like the vocals were on point, y'all. Like
Nuts.
it was
Nuts.
so good. It was so good. And it was so intimate. It was just like the band, Carole King on the piano, Gloria singing, and it was amazing.
Speaking of clips, there's a fan from the fan club that recorded quite a few songs and uploaded them to YouTube. There is this embarrassing video of me shimmying. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. They're singing "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman," and I am so into it, thinking like the natural woman. And I'm on the big screen. They zoom in, and I'm just there singing "You Make Me Feel."
Oh my God.
Like,
That's not a shimmy song.
no, it's not a
No.
song, but I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my body.
I'm telling you,
Tell me
something was
it's not.
about the energy of
Whoa.
that concert, like brought something out of all of us. We were all like so
You felt the earth move.
Tell me that I was not the
Oh my
natural
God.
woman. Now we go backstage, right? And there is a photo of Frank Amadeo, rest in peace, Frank and Gloria, and the 3 of us are cracking up because apparently they saw the moment on the big screen where I am shimmying to "You Make Me
Oh
Feel
my
Like
God.
a Woman." So that moment was captured, and I'm like, oh my God. So Frank is making fun of me, and Gloria's like, well, you do know that it was written by a man, and maybe we might have to edit this out because I'm not sure. I thought it was Carole King that wrote the song, but for some reason, Gloria mentioned that a man wrote the song. So she was trying to, so, so that way I didn't feel bad. She was like, well, at least, it was a man that wrote. So can we like do some research on
Let me
that?
Google.
I am
Yeah,
almost
Google it. I thought
positive that Carole King is the
I
writer of
thought it
that
was Carole
song.
I
King.
thought she was the writer of
It
that.
very well could be
Like
Carole
co-written
King
something.
and Jerry Goffin together, but I'll
Maybe
double
they
check
did
right
write
now.
a lot together.
I need to see that clip.
Yeah, we have a lot of funny pictures. You're in one of my pictures, Carlos, from backstage with Frank as well. Like I was showing Gloria my tattoos for some reason. Like we brought up tattoos, and there's a picture of like Gloria pointing to my tattoo on my hip, and Frank is in the background with his eyebrows all the way to his hairline because he's like, "What is going on?" Because like everyone was like giggling and laughing at some
I feel like
show I was putting on, I guess.
I feel like I remember that
And you're in
moment.
the background like, "What's going on over there?"
Okay, I remember that. That's too funny. That was forever ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what year that was, like 2010, 2009 or 20.
Right?
2009 was
Because they
2009.
opened
concert,
the
yeah.
theater with that first round of shows, right? In Foxwoods, Connecticut, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
They
Yes.
opened that theater up with her first solo round of shows there, and then the following year was the Carole King shows, right?
Yep,
I
it
believe.
was Memorial Day weekend,
hmm
2008 for the solo,
Yep.
and Memorial Day weekend 2009 with Carole King. Now, the cool thing about the Carole King round of shows was that crowd being a casino crowd. That crowd was amazing, like you said, Giovanna.
Mhm.
However, the year before, was it the year before? I know
It,
that I did a casino show. Was it Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods?
no, it was Foxwoods.
It was Foxwoods?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
so
that round of shows, we were both there. The casino crowd was out in full force for that show.
oh my God, that was horrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. I mean, the show was great. I was in the front row with my friend Sammy, and I'm dancing. I mean,
Yep.
how does conga get on your feet? One, two, three, come on, and you don't get up and dance. And
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Hmm.
this old
Yes.
man, he came right up to me and starts screaming bloody murder. And as he's screaming, spit is just landing on my face.
What?
Like it was
Yeah.
so bad. And I'm like, I can't believe that I'm in a concert and instead of enjoying the concert right now, I'm dealing with this man yelling at me.
Hmm.
And the beautiful thing of that moment was Gloria, I guess, noticed and
Yep.
said something at that moment, something to the effect of like what she said during the Evolution tour, which was if you want to get up and dance, do whatever you
Hmm.
want. And at that moment, I was such a bitch because I turned around and I'm like, I'm in front row and I'm looking at the whole crowd and I'm like, yeah.
But it was happening. I was in the third row for that show, third or second row, and I was getting yelled at by a different old guy who was
Oh,
like saying
yeah.
down in front or whatever. And I was like, she's literally telling me to get on my feet. Why don't you follow her directions a little bit? So at that point, I guess Gloria noticed it happening in little pockets around
Yeah.
the floor. So for I don't know for whatever happened, we all ended up just at the foot of the stage, standing up.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, it ended up being fun, but it sucks when you go to a show, you anticipate having a blast, you anticipate that you're gonna dance your ass off, and then you have, these party poopers that
Yeah.
ruin it. But luckily she was there to save the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to another topic, which in regards to not only concerts, but just being a fan in general. We've all made friendships. I mean, I've been friends with Giovanna. We've known each other now for quite some time.
Yeah. Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
outside of
Like
our friend,
decades. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of our friendships, have you made close friendships like that throughout the fan club?
Yeah, yeah. I have I'm really close friends with Heather, who's another fan who's from Florida, but she lives on the West Coast.
Oh, I love Heather.
Um, she's so sweet and she's such a good time. She's always down for like having a great time and she's so like down to earth and love her. We just mesh really well together. Cynthiana, I'm also really good friends with. I've known her for years, another like Miami girl. Like
Yeah.
she was one of my first friends, like when I joined Conga and the first Conga Bash happened, like I was friends with all like the Miami girls because that's like who I felt comfortable around.
Hmm.
So it was
Nice.
Cynthiana, Nancy, I don't know if you remember Nancy, Fran Jolie.
Oh my
Um,
God, Fanny Lee. I haven't in
yeah,
years. Wow.
yeah.
You're taking me
So
back now.
that was like my little like
You're-
group that I had at the first Conga Bash of like the little girlies that I knew, and we were like the Miami girls.
That is awesome. Is there anything else concert related that you wanted to share?
I kept going back and forth of whether I was going to show like what happened in backstage, and now I'm like chickening out a little bit. I don't want to get like in trouble, but like I guess you can edit it out if you want to. I can tell what happened backstage.
Yes.
What happened backstage? Now I
What
want to know.
happened? Yeah.
So Gloria comes around and she's making the rounds backstage after the Carole King concert. And someone was mentioning tattoos, or they had gotten like a Gloria related tattoo. Some people have done that. And she was like, I don't like tattoos. Don't get any more tattoos. And I was like, well, I have three. And she was like, show them to me. And I was like, okay. all right, girl, you don't know what you about to get into. And I have three tattoos, but I work in an industry where like I have to strategically place these tattoos because especially back then, tattoos were still very taboo.
Yes.
I work
Hmm.
with, children and their families. So parents have to trust me with their children. So having, an
Yeah.
arm sleeve is not going to fly. So I had to keep my tattoos kind of hidden away so you don't see them unless I'm wearing, little clothing or whatever. So I have one on my ankle, which only shows when I'm wearing like a dress or a skirt. And then I show her the one that's on the base of my back. It's like right above the crack of my ass.
Okay.
It's a treble clef because I was known have this love of music and people were getting tramp stamps. And so that was my tramp stamp. I'm a front row ho. So
There you go.
I got a treble clef right above the crack of my ass, and I, pulled down my pants for her to see, and she's like, giggling and like, oh my God, it's right above your ass, whatever. And then I go to show her my last one,
Uh-oh.
and my last one is a hummingbird by my flower, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So I have to like unbuckle
Wait a
my
second.
jeans a little bit.
Is that why I had a face and Frank had a face in the picture when you're
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. So I'm telling you, I don't know what came over me. I blame Carol King because she was the new variable to the situation, but I was like, I wasn't Giovanna, I was Gia. Like, and so I like do this little shimmy and I unbuckle my like top button of my jeans to be able to pull it down on the side far enough so she could see the tattoo by my hip. And it's a hummingbird, and she's like, "What is that, a bird?" And I'm like, "It's a hummingbird." She's like, "Oh," and she points at it. And I swear to God, I almost had a seizure. I was like,
In
swing,
in
creep
your defense,
505. Like,
she asked.
everyone's
She
like
asked to see
laughing
them.
and giggling.
Yes.
And that's when like you start looking and Frank's like, what's going on over there? And
That is
that picture is captured with her finger on my hummingbird tattoo, and you and Franklin in the background, like
hilarious.
whatever those concert tickets were worth, every penny. I'd do it again. I'd pay double.
Priceless.
Absolutely.
All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, or the last thing we're gonna do, is we're gonna do a little bit of a rapid fire, but as you know, our rapid fires are never rapid, so let's see how this goes. We're gonna talk specifically about concerts, and we're also gonna interject with our answers if we happen to have one.
Do you have a memory of a particular song hitting particularly meaningful for you?
Ooh. So many. Gloria became like my role model. I went through a very difficult childhood and adolescence, so like a lot of like the introspective songs were the ones that called for me, and what I like to call cortavena, which is
Mm,
like the heartbroken love songs, that you like figuratively cut your veins to, because that helped me to get like all my emotions out. So Always Tomorrow is a big, big one for me. Close My Eyes.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
that just spoke to me immediately upon hearing that song. I would listen to that song over and over again to get me through rough moments. And then for the longest time, before bed, I would listen to the Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me album. And I had a CD player where you could like program which songs you wanted to play. So I would have the whole album play except the two upbeat songs, Everlasting Love and Turn the Beat Around. So it was very soft, to get me chill to go to bed. And the song Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying would play. And it was nighttime because I was going to bed. And Gloria sings that line, the night's the time for your tears. And that was like permission
hmm
for me to cry. And that's what would
Oh,
It
get
was a
everything out of
catharsis. Yeah.
me before bed every night. That was like part of my routine. I normally don't like cover albums, but that album was done so, so well because she put her like spin on those songs that like, those
Totally.
Latin rhythms and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. It was great.
absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Do any of you have an answer?
That's what I'm trying to think. I have so many songs.
I know I have one because we're thinking specifically about concerts, and I don't remember my life without the song Mi Tierra in it. but
Mhm.
and it's never a song that particularly makes me cry. But at that Foxwoods concert, the show opens with Mi Tierra. So I guess like I emotionally wasn't ready for the song to begin. She comes out, she's singing Mi Tierra, and I'm weeping. And I'm standing there being yelled at by that guy, and I'm also like, why am I crying? Why is this song hitting me so differently right now? I guess I just got swept up in the sort of gubiche feeling of it that it just hit me differently than it ever hit me before. And that memory of that song hitting me that hard always sticks out for me.
But you had heard her sing that live or
Millions of times. Yeah.
before.
Uh-huh.
But for some reason at that show,
The show opens, the curtain rises, she comes out, Mi Tierra starts, and like a flood.
interesting.
Yeah, I can't explain it because it's never been replicated or happened again.
It is a very, as a Cuban, it is an emotive song
Hmm.
because like we can't go back to our land of where our family is from. Like I've never been able to see my grandmother's home where my mom was
Right.
born because we're separated, and there is that nostalgia for something we've never seen,
Which
you
is
know?
wild, right? Like,
Completely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it is wild.
I recently went to the Bay of Pigs Museum in Miami. There's
Mm.
actually two. And at one of them, they have a Cuban passport. And I lost it because I was like, when will I be able to get that? Like, when will I
Mm.
be able to claim that?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
what an interesting perspective. Okay, our next question is your favorite tour opening, not opening song, favorite tour opener.
Oh my gosh, the Evolution tour when she comes out in the ball, that was so cool. Like it
Yeah,
was just a great,
That is cool.
little illusion that she did there. And it was like, wow, this is like the production. Like I love that.
yeah.
That opener was amazing. And of course, obviously when she came out for Hurricane Relief, on the spotlight and she was there, it was like, ah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you with Evolution Tour. That was just that whole production was
Everything was
ridiculous.
perfect about that tour, but then again, it's really hard to the Into the Light tour, the opener. Oh man, that was so cool how she had the mask on and how
I
she
love
came
those
out and took the
surprise
mask off.
little openings. It's
And
so nice.
it was, but when it comes to the whole concert like experience, the Evolution tour is just perfection in my opinion.
How about a favorite deep cut that you've seen her perform live?
That's a good question. She sang so many great songs at the concert she just did recently in Chile when she was singing like the old Miami song, like that first
Mhm.
Man,
song that she
okay.
sang back when she made her
Man, more.
debut at that festival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, I was texting you like I
yeah,
can't.
Yeah.
yeah.
That one for me, and the first question, the song that that hits you, and I kept trying to think of so many songs, and there are so many, but from when I was a little kid, the Homecoming concert was something I watched all the time,
Yeah.
and I had no clue what she was singing about, but that ballad medley it just still hits for me when she sings, the deeper voice and the George Casas on the guitar, like the Man Amore on the Homecoming concert. Man, I just love that ballad medley so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is considered a deep cut, but similar to what you guys just shared in when she did the Noventa Mias tour. I was in Puerto Rico and she sang No Será Fácil. And I
Oh,
know that it was a
oh.
hit,
OMG,
in
yeah.
Latin American countries, but hearing that being sung for the first time for me, that I was like, oh wow. I don't know if I'm gonna ever hear this one again. And I don't think she's performed that one after that tour. That one was a special one.
Yeah, I love hearing the super early stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
How about the favorite tour wardrobe?
I mean, there's something about that Into the Light outfit where like when the light hits, it's like all the different colors and it's like the bodysuit. And then
Oh, the bodysuit.
but she had at one point like the skirt wrapped around, but then she takes that off and it's just the bodysuit. Like that whole like vibe, she just looks like so glittery and so like I don't know. I love that.
So
I mean,
90s.
Carlos, you know
Yeah.
I'm a little critical of wardrobe.
Yes, you are.
But that's like classic Gloria to me, you
Mm.
know, that outfit and the chaps, of course. Like
The chaps. Yeah,
that
Yeah.
is, yeah.
hands
That's
down.
when everyone thinks of Gloria, like that's what they think of. Like the big
Mhm.
curly hair, the jeans, the white little top, and the chaps.
I'm such an idiot. I just had such a brain fart because like Carlos is reading the question and I wrote the question, but I'm like, ooh, what a good question.
It's a tough one.
That is tough.
Tough one. There's so many great looks that she's had, but I would say when it comes to, you know, the Evolution tour, the whole tour, the entire show, the outfits were just killer, I think.
Yeah.
You know, for the End of the Light tour, the opening outfit was definitely good, but some of the other ones were hit or miss, but I feel like the Evolution tour was just top down. It was the
I
best.
love the closing outfit to the Into the Light tour. Like I
Just
love
the
when it's
white.
like a casual thing at the end of the
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
Like I think that's a really cool thing that she used to do. She even did it again for the one night only shows in Vegas and Connecticut where she came out in just the American flag t-shirt because it was after 9/11.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love when they're like, "Oh, the show's kind of done. I'm just gonna put on a t-shirt, but before I go, here's a few more songs."
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a
I
fun
love
like,
Gloria when she's casual. Like I
yeah,
like more like when
Yes,
she
I agree.
dresses just like in regular and not in like this like over crazy kind of outfit that is like a costume. I don't like
Mhm.
her in costumes. I like her just in more like regular clothes. Like I think that's when she actually looks her best. It's so authentic. It's so her.
Agreed. Yeah.
So what deep cut do you wish she would perform live?
Ooh.
Hmm. I would love to hear Close My Eyes again live. She hasn't done it, I think, since it was released.
Yeah.
And that it's such an emotive song. And when she performed it during that tour, she like got on the floor, remember? And like it was like
Hmm.
an
Mhm.
overhead look. It was so like I like the really like kind of artsy stuff. So when she does that kind of vibe, I love that. I would love to see something like that again.
Yeah, I
That's
Yeah,
a
mean,
great one.
that's great.
deep cut for me, it's gonna be Tuyo. Like, I'm gonna start a
Yay.
petition to make sure that at some point she has to sing that song. There's no, it's not a single. It probably will never be a single, but she could still perform it live.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great song.
That's a
That
great
that
song.
Yeah.
whole album is so good. Like so
Oh,
many single
Hmm.
potential there.
so if Gloria announced a one night only show where she only performed one full album, top to bottom, what album would you want to see live?
It's not like the popular and what people know her for, but it's what I love her for, which is like the very introspective. I would love to hear Unwrapped again. Like, I love that
Yeah.
whole album. It's my
Yeah.
favorite album of all time. It's not, mainstream or anything like that. And so it would be totally a dream for her to do something like that. But I love that album so much. And it's just so like organic, musically wise, and so introspective. I love that. And again, very artsy. The artwork on that album
Oh my
is
God.
top
Stunning.
tier.
Yep. Perfect.
Mine's Mi Tierra.
Hmm.
Easy.
Okay. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, I would say that my answer would probably be the same, but then I keep thinking I love Cuts Both Ways so much. That's my ultimate favorite. Yeah, a lot of those songs we hear performed live over and over again, but there's still some of those that we've never heard live. Like Your Love Is Bad for Me. Man, that would be great to hear live.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wes, you could have
So
redeemed yourself and picked Destiny after killing it, but you doubled down. Boy, oh boy.
I was gonna agree with you right now, Wes, but I would say the Gloria album.
ooh, that's a good
Oh,
one
okay.
too. And that's like fun.
Yeah, that would be
Yep.
a great show.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I think I'm with you there. 100%.
Rob, you're like, no, thank you.
No, I didn't think that that's what you would pick.
What do you think I would?
I thought you would have picked Destiny, but then I forget how much you like to shake your ass. So
For a concert, yes. I want to shake my ass.
Okay.
Yes.
Miami and me. How about a tour that you missed out on that you wish you had seen?
I mean, I guess it was the, the really earlier ones because I was, a little kid, so I didn't get to go. My first concert tour was 96, so everything before that, so like Into the Light. Oh my gosh, I would have loved to have been there for Into the Light. I've only seen them, via videos afterwards, but I would have loved to have been there for them.
That's the one for me. And my family went to that one. I've shared this before. My family went to that one. That's the one. And I know that, there's been Let It Loose and, all the other ones, but Into the Light.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
mine's Evolution. Like everybody went to that, and I didn't go to that. And they were like, "Oh, you're too young." I'm not. I wasn't. I was old enough to sit in a chair and stand up. I would have been fine. And our last question is concert set list that you would love to see live again, start to finish.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That is really hard. Um, I think she did a great job with the set list of her very last concert tour. I think it was Live and Rewrapped or something like that, like her last official tour,
Okay.
because she
Yeah.
did all the old hits, but then she also sang some stuff from Unwrapped. She sang I Wish You, I remember, and I was like, oh my God, the way that I love that song. And so it was like a great mix of like the stuff that she had just released, plus all the great, hits from all throughout the years. She did a little bit of everything on that tour because it was like, the final tour. And I remember bringing one of my friends from high school to that concert. I went 2 nights, and I brought her to one of them, and so she knows Gloria, like I think how like most people know Gloria for like Conga, Rhythm Is Gonna Get You, and like all that kind of stuff. And when I Wish You came on, she turns to me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that? I need to know what album that's on because I need to get that. I didn't know Gloria was so deep." And afterwards, I was like, "You think I'm obsessed with a woman just because she can shake her body and do the conga? Like, come on."
That's
I would
awesome.
want to hear, I would want to relive the Evolution tour set list.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
include Montuno and Ayer, which was
Yes.
cut from, yeah. Well, Montuno was performed in the US, but then Ayer was added, like, I think on the second or third leg of the tour. But yeah, from the whole show top to bottom, that's for me as well.
All right. Those were some good answers.
That was so much fun and so great to get to know all of us a little bit better with all of our faves. Thank you once again to Giovanna for sharing her time and her unique, memorable, and hilarious stories. We know that these are just a few of the many stories that we could highlight on this show. So we would love to hear from you all. And maybe we could do another iteration of this episode in the future. We would love it if you would reach out to us via our socials or email at loosepod@gmail.com and share some of your most memorable concert moments and memories. Don't forget to rate, review, give us 5 stars, please. Like and subscribe or whatever else it is that, hit all the buttons that are on your phone and tell them that you love us. Until next time, thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Hasta luego.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Giovanna.
Thank you for listening to Let It Loose, a Gloria Este-FAN podcast. Let It Loose was produced by Carlos, Rob, and Wes, with graphic design by Laura. Thank you to Gloria for bringing us all together. Subscribe, rate, and share the love, and join us next week for a brand new episode.